and sisters, the Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, Jesus exclaimed, I give praise to you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, for although you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, you have revealed them to little ones. Yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy, and my burden light. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord. For my yoke is easy and my burden light. I can hear most of the people that I know reacting to that statement with the following. Are you kidding? Have you seen my life? Because we're a people in constant motion. We never slow down. There's always the next thing that we need to get to. One kid has a soccer match in Elmira. Another kid has a lacrosse game in Geneva. Another kid has dance class here in Watkins. And then we have our own meetings, and we work around the house, and our paying jobs, and all these other things that suck up our time. So that when we get to the end of a day, a gorgeous day like this one, we're not thankful for the gifts of the day. We're thankful that that day is over and we can take 10 minutes to just lay down and rest. And that's what Jesus is talking about today. He says, take my yoke upon you. Well, where do we find a yoke? Oxen. That used to be how farms were run. Big, strong oxen, you put them in a yoke and they pull the wagons or they pull the plows or whatever. But if you've ever seen that, you never see just one ox and a yoke. They're always paired. Makes it easier on the animal and gives much more power to what you're trying to do. So if Jesus is saying, take my yoke upon your shoulder, what's he implying? That he's going to be in the yoke right next to us. Because Jesus has promised us all along he would be with us forever, till the end of time and beyond. And so all of these tasks that we see in front of ourselves, we don't have to worry about doing alone, because Jesus is right beside us. Now, what is God's work for us? We tend to think of grandiose things like curing world hunger, wiping out disease and all of that, when it could be something as simple as finding someone who's having a bad day and smiling to help lift their spirits. Or spending some time with someone who's grieving the loss of a loved one. Sure, there are bigger things that we can do. Maybe work in a prison, we can feed the hungry, clothe the naked, take care of the poor, because the attitudes and access to you. But the basic work of God comes down to two things. Love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And love your neighbor as yourself. Two pretty simple rules to live by. But yet we complicate things with everything else we throw into our life, and we forget one very important thing, and that's to rest. Because unless we're taking care of ourselves and we're ready to go out and work, we can't do as good a job as we should be doing, or as we can be doing. And I think part of that struggle comes from the word retreat. Because we tend to think of retreat in a military sense. And we use it incorrectly because we think of an army running away because they're being defeated. But that's really not what retreat means. Retreat means to fall back, to regroup, and then to go back into battle. And that's exactly what we should be doing on a regular basis. We should be taking a retreat, which is the same thing. We can come away for a little while. We regroup spiritually, physically, mentally. We recreate or we strengthen our relationship with our loving God. And then we go back into the world to do the work that God has asked us to do. I have to admit, I'm terrible at that. I don't do it well. Fortunately for me, as a deacon, I am required by canon law to take an annual retreat. So I'm kind of forced into that situation. But like many people, I'm from one thing right to the next. If you haven't made a retreat or haven't done one recently, I really strongly suggest it. You'll be amazed at how rejuvenating it can be. Just spend a couple hours with the Lord. Just sit in His presence. Don't have to say anything. Don't have to do anything. You may want to listen because God may have something to say to you. But just the fact that you're taking time away, carving that time out of your schedules, sitting with God, you'd be amazed at how good you feel when it's over, how much strength you then have to go out and face all the stuff that we've dumped into our lives. God's work isn't that hard. We make it hard. Is it really that tough to take Jesus' yoke on our shoulders? Not if we remember that He's in the one right next to us.